Hi everyone! Welcome back to my stream. I see some of you noticed I have a new theme going on there in the starting soon scene. So thanks guys for all the compliments. I love it too. I feel like it's kind of like spooky vibes but still cute. Spooky but cute. But yes, welcome everyone. How is everyone doing? Thank you for being here like usual. Um, what was I going to say? Oh, so I had initially planned to do a special stream today, something a little bit different, but it's not ready, and I don't want to rush it. This is special to me, and it can't be rushed, so I'm going to keep it for Thursday, hopefully. But I think for sure it'll be ready by then. Exciting. Thank you. Thank you. I missed you guys too. I think I may have missed last Thursday's stream because of this project I'm working on. It's not that I'm putting like so much time into it. It's just the time that I do have is going into that. So it's just been a busy few days. But thank you guys for the subs and follows so far. Ash, thank you. Thank you for you got me through my nights. Aw. You guys always say the sweetest things, so thank you all for that. Today I figured we will watch, there's like this series about mom and son killer like duos. And that just sounds so strange to me, and I didn't know like it's common enough that they can make an entire series on it. But apparently it's true. I'm hyped to see what this project is. Oh my god, thanks, Noisy. It's not anything like crazy or whatever. It's just different from what I normally do. I put some time into this, so it's just a little bit different. I'm excited about that. Queen Lena looking so good in this lighting. Oh my gosh, thank you. So AB actually just put up some other lights for me, like a light bar right behind my computer, and I love it. I feel like it's already made it look so much different, and it's perfect. So yes, let's get into this. Anyways, the series is called Mother May I Murder, which I think the title is kind of cheesy, but the stories are real. You can't fake this stuff. Yeah, I got the notification. Oh, nice. Welcome, Derek. Also, let me pin the Discord. Okay. If you're new here, don't forget to follow and to join the Discord. Thank you. Love watching you. I do my baking. Perfect timing. Yay, welcome. Mother-son murder drama. Why is there... Oh my god. That's true. Oh my god. I learned about that in psychology. And how, like, the girls... Is that like a Freudian thing, Noisy? About how, like, girls tend to like or be attracted to their fathers and the sons to their mothers. It's all so weird. Betty, thank you so much for the gifted. Okay. So, oh my god, I was looking into these stories a little bit earlier, and I don't know what to start with. I don't know. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's just do... Why am I so indecisive? Okay, let's do this one. Let me know if the audio levels are okay. Oh, it looks kind of quiet for you guys.
When they got arrested.
July 7th. My mother and brother have been calling 10 times an hour, and they were all collect calls, the kind that you have to make for prison.
Let me make sure this is the one I wanted to do. Yeah, I think it's this one. Hi, Pocket Poppy and Faded Wampa. So many first-time chatters today. Oh, it's echoey? Okay. One sec.
She looked like Elizabeth Taylor.
Is that any better?
She was so beautiful.
It's loud? Oh, oh my... Yeah, wait, hold on. I just lowered my mic. Is this any better? Or should I lower some more? Lena, your pinned comment? What about it? Oh, where's this? That's so funny. I pinned a comment saying. Oh, I know what that is. Okay, sorry, because I just added all of these new scenes. It's my alert. I don't want this to make sounds. Okay, maybe I'll just turn it off for now. Open source. Okay. And Quetzark, thank you for the Prime sub. Megathor, thank you. Yeah, I was just laughing because I pinned a comment that said, "Hey Queen." I meant to pin the Discord. Okay. But thank you for that comment. Unpin. Okay, there we go. Now this is what I really meant to pin. This one here. Okay, we are ready for real now. Is my mic okay? Do I sound fine? I thought my earphones are broke, but glad they're not. Oh my god, I'm so sorry, you guys. No, not better.
She had everything
this so
I
you
ever
can-
wanted.
Okay. Sorry about that.
Hey guys, what's going on? Let's see. What's the problem? Are your alerts or her alerts too loud?
Oh, so I just took it off because I didn't know how to turn down the volume on that. Or I mean, I didn't want to take too much time finding out.
What's up,
It's probably
guys?
for subbies and there we go, and for follows, yeah. Oh, they can only hear it on the mic one side.
I got it.
Oh, how do you fix that?
I don't know. Let's see what you did. Let's see.
Man, and I was just telling AB before the stream started how happy I was I did this all by myself.
What did you do? How did you do that?
I didn't. I just made maybe because I made the new scene, and like you have to apply the, I'd like do the audio settings all over.
You somehow made it though that they're only hearing from one ear.
Oh.
I don't know how you did that.
I know. I didn't do anything.
Miriam did it.
Who said that? Oh, thanks, Noisy. I'm glad I'm not the only one. Oh, that's my alert. I didn't know it sounds like that. That's why maybe just turn the sound all the way down on it.
Okay.
Thanks. Lena's just that good. She did something that even Evie can't figure out.
Here, you can talk into the mic
tricked
while
you.
I'm figuring this out.
Sorry, guys. This will just take a moment. But how is everyone doing today? I hope you guys are all having a good Tuesday. I keep forgetting what day of the week. Like, it takes me like a minute to remember. The weeks just fly by these days. It's okay, we like seeing both of you. That is at least a small benefit of having this technical issue right now, because an AB appears. They always like to see you. My niece called me a few times today, and I didn't answer, and then she texted me saying, because I was at work, and she texted me saying, "It's me, Dahlia, can you call?" As if I don't know. It's still so weird that she has a cell phone.
How was that one? Was that last one too loud? Derek Runs, thanks for 5 gifted.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much, Derek. I appreciate it.
Better, but is it still too loud? Okay. Okay.
Can you figure out what Yeah, I don't know. Oh, well, make sure the bell is on if you go to my profile, maybe that. But also, you can join the Discord and you'll get notifications there.
Alright, someone else follow or sub.
It's a little loud, yeah. Let's see. Oh, it's louder than the mic. AB's voice is like 30%. Lena at the mic's maybe 70. Donald's are like 110%. Oh, Jesus. They're saying our voices are quiet to them, so we can fix that in a second. I'm gonna figure out this alert sound first. Did.
Okay. Okay. So your alert box needs to be off. It's not in here. It's in Streamlabs.
Oh, okay.
Like the Streamlabs.
Yeah.
Whatchamacallit. Okay. Did I fix it? I hear you now from both. Okay.
Yes.
Somehow, Lena, you went in and you split your audio into 2 channels. In my history of creating videos, of using computers, I've never done that.
I didn't do that either. It's just that I didn't.
You've been bragging about how you fixed your stream and now everything's fucked. You're still pretty low on the mic. Okay, how about now? Should be better.
Thank you, Mojo.
Yes. Okay. Cool. Enjoy the stream.
Thank you so much, AB, and thank you to everyone for waiting till I.
Off on every scene.
Oh, good call. Let me take it off here too. But yes, thank you guys for waiting while we fixed that small technical issue. Alert box. Okay, I just wanted to make sure it's off here too. Oh, this is what we're going to be watching, by the way. I just remembered something that happened earlier. It's really funny. I even forgot to tell AB this story. I was on a phone call earlier, and the person who was helping me, his name was Joseph. And then he later said, is this, like, are you calling from Detroit? And I'm like, yeah, I can see that. It's 313. And I'm like, no, but yeah, I live here. And then it turned out like he's going to Detroit, blah, blah. So anyways, I found out he's actually from Dearborn. And I'm like, whoa, that's actually he's like, you won't know. He's like, a small town outside of Detroit. I'm like, that's where I'm from. And he's like, wow, small world. And then, and then he goes, what did he say? Oh, and then he's Arab too. And he's also Lebanese. And then once I got all the information, I'm like, wow, so what's your real name then? Because he introduced himself as Joseph. And I'm like, okay, for sure his name's not actually Joseph. And that's true. It was Yusuf. And like a lot of Yusufs in Dearborn, they go by Joseph. Or like my dad's Ahmad, but he goes by Mike. So it's funny. Don't stroke out. You got this? Why would I, AB? Okay. No pressure. Oh, it's bad still?
It's weird.
Oh. Okay, just adjusting the audio once more. How is that now?
Just go ahead.
Okay, let's do it. Oh, 248 here. That's not far from 313. Cool. It really is a small world. But did you hear my story, AB? Isn't that so crazy?
No, I just heard you sound like your mouth was super dry.
Oh, okay. Sounds great to me. Yes, we can get started. That's so cute. I love when communities have that vibe. Why I will fight for Texas in the South. Oh, that's awesome, Noisy. I agree. That's what I love about Dearborn. It's like its own bubble. And so whenever I know of someone else that's from there, it's just...
Ask Noisy if she's seen Paul Wall lately.
AB asked if you've seen Paul Wall lately. Why would she? Is he from the South? Is that an inside joke? I don't know. Tater Nut, thank you for the gifted. You sound good now. Okay, yay. Paul Wall is a rapper from H-Town who makes grills. Oh, okay. So have you seen him lately? Tater Nut, thank you for the gifted. Okay, let's do it. So yeah, we were talking about mom and son killer duos. Apparently, there's enough of them that they can make an entire series on it. This one specifically seemed really interesting, and it has to do with like Hollywood, glamour, yada yada. So let's see what it's about. I haven't seen him. I'd love to. Oh, that's funny. I don't know who that other person is though. Oh, thanks, AB. Oh, hold on. This is what AB sent me.
Boy,
Oops.
oh, I had fun at that Texans game yesterday, man. Tough loss, definitely a tough loss. But
Wait, is this Paul Wall? Is it?
man, did we have fun in that suite, bro. Let me tell you. I walked all over that stadium. I'm telling you, I must have walked about 10 miles yesterday, just walking from one side of the stadium to the other, from the suite back to downstairs to the field where we performing for halftime with my boy Louis the singer. Man, it was a hell of a day, a great game. Let me tell you, it was all worth it. Even though we lost, it was all.
Oh my God, that's crazy. I didn't even know him like that well, but I know he did that song with Brooke Hogan. Oh my God, wait a second. Hold on, let's just see. What he used to, oh my goodness. I guess he doesn't look that different.
All worth it to see.
Yeah, he doesn't look that different. Why is everyone so surprised? Man's a silver fox. Okay. But yeah, no, I guess he does with the hair. Oh my God, yeah, he looks so different. Wait, so he makes grills? Did he start grills? Oh, and apparently he lost a lot of weight. This is also a Paul Wall. Okay. Back to this killer mom. He started one of the biggest grill chain shops. Oh, okay, with another Vietnamese dude. How do you know all of this?
She was the most flamboyant, fun person to be around. And then the flip side.
It reads like a Hollywood mystery plot.
This was one of the biggest cases New
Because I
York
live
has
in
ever
Houston.
seen.
Fair enough,
What
noisy.
happened to elderly millionaires?
Wait, in New York City? But it's a Hollywood story?
It reads like a Hollywood mystery plot.
This was one of the biggest cases New York has ever seen.
Okay, it takes place in New York,
What
not in
happened to
Hollywood.
elderly
But still.
millionaires Irene
Fame,
Silverman?
fortune, it's the same theme.
String of frauds and mysteries from coast to coast.
This became a media sensation. This was an abduction, if not a murder.
We're just a mother and son.
What was going on between these two?
Beautiful person,
Oh, we already
spiritually and
know.
intellectually, and physically.
What?
What was going on between these two?
Oh, what? It's okay.
Beautiful person, spiritually.
Actually, do you mind using headphones?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know you were going to put on Dolby surround sound.
How did I do that? Is that something else I did?
No, I'm saying it's louder than the TV in the living room. You have it on blast.
Yeah. That is weird. I don't wear headphones.
God bless you.
No, God bless you.
God bless all of us. Yep, she's putting on her headphones. Look at that. Wow. Look at that. Why so much blank space?
We're here. Should I cut it? I was just adjusting that. Like here, right?
I got it. You watch, I got it.
Okay. Make it look cute. Wait, I need to do this too. Hold on. Right here. Where's my settings? I'm moving slowly. Okay, we're good. And then here. And this. Okay. Well, you can press play. Okay.
And physically.
Love the tradition. Thank you, Selena.
Mother and son stayed in that one room. It's kind of weird.
Someone had seen them in bed together.
The pure raw anger that would just ooze out of his pores.
Oh my God, it's scary how some people
for my
can.
son, because he is my son, and he's wonderful. Really, a psycho.
Did you want to say something?
Oh, yeah. No, I was just going to say, like, it's crazy how some people just, like, have that evil look to them. And they end up becoming killers or whatever. And then in these documentaries about them, people say, like, you could just tell. You see it in their eyes. You see evil. But also, this little transition was funny. The mom's like, he's my son, and he's wonderful. And then it cuts to this lady. He's a psychopath. Okay, you can press play now. That's all I had to say about that.
Psychopath. You may think you know me, but you do not.
What? Thank you so much, AB. Oh my god, that looks so much better. Oh my god, Jack said I have that crazy eyes thing. Everyone thinks I'm hard to approach. I'm sure that's not the case.
It was a quiet Sunday. Manhattan was empty. I received a phone call in the 19th.
Random, but I saw this video on TikTok and it was showing, or maybe Instagram, but whatever. It was like an apartment that's here that overlooks Central Park. It's like literally right here, and you see all of this. And I think it said it was like $26 million or whatever, but it is so crazy and it's so high up. Like you go to your balcony and this is what you see. And I'm like, I would never in a million years want that. That looks so scary.
It was a quiet Sunday. Manhattan
Yeah,
was
26
empty.
million. I'm not kidding.
I received a phone call in the 19th Precinct Detective Squad. There's a woman missing. She can't be found.
We were informed her name was Irene Silverman. She was an elderly woman. She lived in the beautiful house. 20 East 65th Street is one block from Fifth Avenue and Central Park.
Oh, it must have been expensive.
Irene Silverman used the house as a rental property. The business manager of the house, Mr. Jeff Feig, was adamant that she never left the home, and he had looked through the house, and he did not find her. So if she never leaves the house, and she's not there, then we have a serious problem.
Someone said EO landlords, but look, she looks like such a sweet lady. And now she's missing.
It is a big deal because she was a person of wealth and she was a personality. She never went out alone, and she had servants who took her out wherever she had to go. And she had...
Wait, that's so sad. Imagine having so much money and like no one to share it with. And you just live alone and you don't go anywhere. That kind of sounds like a sad life.
Vanished. And that's all anyone knew at that point.
What happened to elderly millionaires Irene Silverman?
Police in the New York area are still searching for a missing millionaire, Irene Silverman, who vanished.
First thing to see is who's living in the house at the time Irene Silverman went missing. We knocked on every apartment door and began to check those names. Did Jeff Feig know of any enemies of Irene Silverman? Any unruly tenants? Someone who felt they were cheated on a lease deal?
We're going to continue to search for her.
Might be Mojo said being broke and alone is much worse, I promise.
And we will follow this investigation wherever it goes.
Thank you, Miss Melcy, for the subby.
Jeff Feig and other staff members told us about a gentleman that was renting an apartment. The person's name
thank
that
you,
the
Noisy.
staff
Thank
knew
you.
him by was Manny Guerin.
The apartment where Manny Guerin was renting was directly down the hall from Irene Silverman's bedroom, also office.
I think from the very first day Manny Guerin checked in, Irene was somewhat suspicious of him.
He kept out of view of the video cameras that were in the lobby. He used to stand at the apartment door. She knew he was there because she could see his toes from underneath the door. She felt that he was listening.
In her office, we found a sketch. We suspect...
Oh my god, that is so creepy. Oh my god, she should have reported him from then. Like if she just noticed every once in a while he's standing at her door because she sees like the shadows of his feet from the bottom. That is so creepy. I know, that just freaked me out too.
Immediately that that's Manny Guerin, and it just told us basically his physical aspects, his height, his hair color.
Oh, she noted this.
At that point, we thought Irene was
Oh my God, that is very clever of her, actually. You know who that reminds me of? Brendan's dad, he was a lawyer, and he also had like a little pocketbook he kept, or I think it was like his phone book or whatever, but he kept like notes on people and like for himself. And I thought that was just yeah, just so clever of him. So you don't forget these things, and I'm sure it was important in like his business and his relationships with people to remember those.
very sharp woman. She was 80 years old, but she had all of her wits about her, so much so that she wrote these notes down.
What also came to our attention.
Baby said, I do that. Oh, no, I do. Okay. I'm like, are you an elderly person?
Was this strange woman with Manny Guerin, who was not on the lease agreement. Jeff Feek had informed us that he believed there were times that she had stayed overnight. He characterized her behavior as very secretive. He just could speculate that she's older, he's younger. Were they boyfriend, girlfriend? I believe each of the rooms had just one bed.
On Manhattan's Tony Upper East Side,
Jack
they are
said her diary dancer and Lena had a new light and wore her non-insurance glasses. Did I mention that? Did we have this discussion? That's so funny. Yeah, these aren't insurance glasses. My previous ones were. But you know the thing with like those insurance glasses, they're like indestructible, I feel like. They really last like a long time. I've traveled with them so many times, like just throwing them in my backpack, and they last so long.
scratching their heads and fearing the worst. An elderly millionairess, the lady of this house, has been missing since Sunday.
Everybody was following it. It was all over the tabloids. The newspapers were hungry for that kind of disappearance, let's say.
It reads like a Hollywood mystery plot. What happened to elderly millionairess Irene Silverman?
As police searched all over Irene Silverman's apartment, her friends came by, hoping for some good news.
Oh, so she does have friends. Okay.
I'm kind of praying that if I walked on the street, maybe I'd see her.
Here we had an 82-year-old woman missing. We had a male that we just couldn't identify. So the urgency level was very high. The media was on our backs. Where is Irene Silverman?
Who is
I'd be
Irene
asked that
Silverman?
question 100 times a day.
I don't want to Google it now just because I feel like the spoilers will pop up about what happened
That
to her.
search has
But
stretched from nearby Central Park to New Jersey across the Hudson River.
At the beginning of the investigation, running criminal background checks, in connection with the Manny Guerin name, nothing came up.
thank you, Noisy, for the gifted.
We get a sketch done of Manny Guerin. We're looking for him. We didn't know who he was.
It was pretty clear in all our minds that this was that case that you think about. This was an abduction, if not a murder.
I hope and I pray that we find her alive, but optimism is not in that formula.
Why? How could they determine that? So they're saying that she'll probably not be found alive. I guess if that's the case, that she's just like a homebody. She never leaves and now she's missing. I guess, I see what they're saying.
Irene Silverman was considered a Manhattan socialite. She had been a rockette, she had been a dancer. She had this core group of friends who loved her.
Oh, so now we're getting the fame and the fortune story.
She didn't have an enemy in the world.
She was a very fiery person, and people just adored her.
Mrs. Silverman married Sam Silverman, who was very wealthy. And as a result, she became a well-known socialite in the best areas of New York. And by all accounts, a very, very popular lady.
was known as a flamboyant, bon vivant kind of person who gave parties. She took in boarders, but she took in people that she liked, and they drank champagne and they told stories. And it was all sort of a wonderful life that Irene Silverman, the former ballerina, was enjoying. And suddenly she was gone.
Irene went missing on Sunday.
Thought she was lonely? I know, me too. That's how they set it up to be. They said she doesn't go anywhere. She doesn't do anything. She just stays at home and her servants help her with everything.
The big break, and I say the big break, that came on Tuesday morning.
63-year-old Sante Kimes and her 23-year-old son Kenneth are being held on a warrant for allegedly buying a Lincoln Town Car in Utah with a bad check.
Police linked them to Silverman's disappearance in part because of what they found in the car.
In their possession were numerous documents leading back to Irene Silverman.
They did it.
Police found a ledger with Mrs. Silverman's name and telephone numbers inside the town car.
They must have.
There were also keys that were recovered from Kenny that definitely belonged to Irene Silverman.
The investigation went up from 0 to 60. Because now we didn't have just a sketch of a Manny Guerin. We had a name. Kenneth Kimes.
Oh, he is creepy.
This is the tenant police are now questioning. He's called Kenny Kimes, but he also used the false identity Manny Guerin.
After we found out that they were in custody, I went down with my partner and talked to Kenny Kimes. When I first saw him physically, he looked like the boy next door. Clean cut, well-built, good-looking guy. He was very mild-mannered. He was very respectful. At one point, he started to well up, and all of a sudden he stopped, and he completely just turned to stone. And he asked for a lawyer.
Oh, he knew. He knew what's up.
Sante
Maybe he thought he was only getting arrested for the bad check and not for the murder.
Kenneth Kimes are in custody here. They've refused to tell police anything.
They gave up nothing. It was very evident that Sante ran the show. Whatever she wanted her son to say or do, he would do.
We're just a mother and son.
We couldn't understand, like, what type of connection this mother and son had. This was really the strange part of this investigation. What was going on between these two?
Are they implying that they were together? Like in love? That is so weird.
Turn that damn camera off. You're making me nervous.
I think maybe they're not actually family. Okay.
We had when they got
It's another interesting theory.
July 7th.
Yeah, they kind of don't really look alike. But we haven't seen much of them
My
yet.
mother
We'll
and
see.
brother have been calling 10 times an hour, and they were all collect calls, the kind that you have to make from prison. My name is Kent Walker. I am the son of Shantae Kimes, half-brother of Kenny Kimes. I'm 12 years older than Kenny. I walked in right there.
Oh wait, so
and
they
the
are.
phone was still ringing.
Wait, I must have.
12 years older than Kenny.
Okay, they're saying they are. That really is their dad. I mean, their mom. Oh, this is his half brother.
I walked in right there, and the phone was still ringing. I opened up the paper and I saw Mom's picture in there. I knew it was going to be big, but I had no idea what we were in store for. I just got blindsided.
No, it's his half brother. This guy's his half brother, but his mom is really his mom. They share a mom, just different dads, I guess.
When the world fell in on me. But then I had to remind myself, what's Mom? So anything's possible. We spent a lot of time in Los Angeles when I was very young. We also spent a lot of time in Palm Springs.
Emotion, thank you for the
I
sub.
believe that the proximity to glitz and glamour It's
We've been
hypnotic.
here in Palm Springs.
And Mom wanted to be part of it. In fact, she felt entitled to be part of it. And she would do anything she could to become part of it.
Good job. Now I'm gonna have to be. Stop it!
When my mom walked into a room, she owned it. She dressed.
Oh my God. Okay, Noisy said, "What's Wendigoon?" It reminded me of last night. Well, Noisy, it's a popular YouTuber who does true crime. I guess we just found out about yesterday, and AB's chat was explaining to us. But anyways, after AB raided someone, and he said, just like a quick comment right before he raided, he said, "Go sell your lamps." And then you guys were actually talking her into getting a lamp. That was so funny. I was watching after the raid, and I'm like, this is like, you guys were cracking me up. But I'm glad like you guys were honest and were like, we're just trolling. That was just, it was funny.
For attention, and she was a beautiful woman.
She looked like Elizabeth Taylor. She was so beautiful. She had gorgeous black hair, but I think it was a wig. But it was beautiful. She wore beautiful makeup.
Is there a clip? No, I wish. It's so funny because it started off like AB finally watched this video that someone in chat kept spamming the link to, and it turned out to be a Wendigoon video. And AB's like, okay, you know what? You really want to see it? We'll give it a shot. And then like the first 5 minutes of the video was an ad for a lamp. So it all spiraled from there.
Wore white. She would walk out of the bedroom like sashaying. You know, she floated when she walked, and she usually had a drink in her hand.
Okay, so obviously it did not work out for this woman, her LA dreams, and maybe that's what made her turn bitter and a killer, and then she like killed this poor Irene Silverman for her money, maybe. But it just makes me think like how sad it is, like how many people come out here with like that LA dream or like being a singer, an actor, whatever. And so they wait tables or they do like have this other job that's like, you know, and they work long hours and stuff to make that dream real. And for some people it just never happens. And it gets to me. I just feel so bad. It's kind of like also in Vanderpump Rules, I wonder too, like, what if they were just always working at SUR, and then like, where would their lives have gone if it wasn't for the show?
Completely enamored, and I loved her. You would walk in the door, Rhonda, so nice to see you, darling. Oh, and kisses and hugs, and you were just the center of the world. My darling son has such a beautiful girlfriend. Come, give me a hug. Yeah, it was over the top.
Oh, I'm sorry, Faded Wampa. I know the traffic is hell. It's like, it took me an hour to get home today.
But you just can't help it.
But I love it.
Stand
It's like the only thing I
especially
don't
when
like
you're a
about LA,
kid.
just the traffic, but it's tough.
Kent's mom arranged to call my mom and ask her if I could spend the night at their house. She assured my mom that there was a guest room that I could stay in, and I would be perfectly chaperoned. And my mom said, okay. It's on tape. She just goes, I told your mother you would be fully chaperoned and you would be sleeping in the guest room. You know, just like, yeah, you and Kent just go. And he had a little room off the side of the house that was a bedroom and a bathroom, and that's where we stayed.
We had a beautiful life. We were the American dream. Beautiful homes in the ocean.
Oh, so she did have money.
Las Vegas, Bahamas, travel, go out to eat all the time. Not one fear of money, nothing. It was really cool being the son of Shantae Kimes. She was a member of every club, very social, very, very popular. Everyone loved her.
Happy New Year.
She was very flashy dressed, very, very interesting, engaging, seemed very, very nice. This is the house where Kent would come and stay. This is where he spent a lot of time. Whenever she needed a babysitter, she'd bring him over, and we'd love taking care of him. he was 6 years old. My late husband, who was a former police officer, he's the one that started to get a little suspicious.
Hi, Sabretooth.
One day, Kent acted a little disturbed, and he told me that his mother had burned down his father's house. And of course, I didn't believe that was possible. So when she came to pick him up, I said, Sante,
did you burn your husband's house?
Kent tells me that you burned down your ex-husband's house. And she says, I did. I burned down too. I'm beginning to realize the depth of her character.
Whoa, oh my God, Noisy. Thank you so much for 20 gifted subs. You are amazing. Thank you so much. That is awesome. Thank you. Even AB in the back says Voisey. Is that what you said, Voisey? That's what the rest of chat is saying. Thank you so much. Oh, thank you, AB. Are you giving me some?
Can I get you on it?
No, I just want...
No, you can have it. I just want to get one last sip.
Okay.
Noisy gave us 20 subs. We're good. We could.
If you want, you can just put me in a cup. I'm not going to drink this all.
Oh, I don't want you to stay up all night. It's the only thing.
Okay. I'll just have a little bit. Yes, thank you so much.
Those windows up there, I remember seeing the scorch marks around them from the fire that Mom set up there. Mom thought that insurance companies were fair game. One of her reasons to live is how to get the insurance companies to pay for everything.
Oh, is that why? For the insurance money? Good. But if he was her ex-husband, oh my God, how fancy.
Too noisy.
Too noisy. Cheers. This is just, what's it called? Celsius. It's not alcohol. It's so sweet, actually. EB's aunt and uncle, the ones we stayed with when we first moved here, gave us these and like a few other things too as like a wedding gift because they didn't come to our wedding. And I thought that was so sweet. Oh, he didn't have to do all that and bully AB for being extra. It's okay. We like extra AB sometimes.
Kent told me that she had told him.
Well, this is really good watermelon flavor.
To steal from us.
She used to have me.
Hold the phone. Nay, the face that I got fired for drinking Celsius at work and now I'm in a lawsuit. Are those events like related? Do we have another true crime thing we could talk about on here? No, but that's really crazy.
I was small.
But they are related.
And she let me do that.
She put him through the window and told him to go to the door and open the door for her when he was probably about 5 years old. I believe she was grooming him.
Darn. Who was she grooming? I'm sorry, I was reading chat and must have missed something.
Reasons to live is how to get the insurance companies to pay for everything.
Kent told me that she had told him when she would come visit us to steal from us.
She used to have me break into houses. I was small, I fit through windows, and she let me do that.
She put him through the window and told him to go to the door and open the door for her when he was probably about 5 years old. I believe she was grooming him.
Oh my God, her own son. How monstrous. To set them up from such an early point in their lives to be doing these things.
She would steal every single day. I cannot remember one day that she didn't steal.
Why?
But she usually got away with it. Sometimes she'd use me as a decoy when she wanted to shoplift.
That was a beautiful shot, though.
One time in Palm Springs.
That mountain.
One of these storefronts there was a dress shop. She went in, helped herself to some clothes, got chased out by the store manager. And when Mom got to the car, the woman had grabbed her arm. And she said, Mom said, we're gonna call the police. And the woman said, yeah, we already did. In an instant, Mom, she didn't really think about it. She balled up her hand and she punched me in the mouth. I mean, I don't think I've ever been hit that hard since.
Why'd she hit him?
And my mouth my lip exploded. My mouth was full of blood, just dripping blood all over my shirt. And the cops pulled up, and Mom screaming, "This bitch hit my son, this bitch hit my son."
She is crazy. She is so crazy. Oh my God, she's delusional. How do you do that? You would think, like, okay, maybe she still loves her son in some kind of twisted way, like that's her way of loving him. But no, she must not even love him at all. She, like, with no thought about it, just hurt him like that, just to get herself out of a situation.
Mom said, "No, I gotta get him to the hospital. You look at him, he's gotta go to the hospital right now." So she made me get in the car. Well, the hospital's that way, but we went that way because that's where the house was at. I was 8 years old when that happened, and I was pissed. Shock. I was probably in shock. I can still feel the scar on the inside of my lip to this day.
How is she so
Kind of a
strong to
reminder
do
of it.
that?
I don't know if she sold her soul to the devil and he gave her powers, but she could look through your soul with her eyes and not even blink.
I just can't, like, imagine that. How she could punch him so hard that his lip just busts open like that. He gave her powers. Yeah, she's really saying, like, she's so evil that she's, like, almost demonic.
We were all sitting in the living room watching TV, and all of a sudden the doorbell rang. So I jumped up to answer the door, and all of a sudden she swooped in front of me. She got this close to me, and she grabbed me and pulled me right up to her and said, "There's 2 rules in this house. Nobody answers the phone and nobody answers the door. Got it?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, I got it, all right." It made my blood run cold.
Oh my God, I would have
The way
left.
She looked at me. It was scary.
Give me a smile. Come on, give me one. Here, look up here at the camera.
It can be the angle and the tension of the skin because of the teeth. Ah, oh my God. It's so, yeah, so sad for someone's mom to do that to them. When my niece was really young, Dahlia, she was like running around and she fell and she hit her mouth by the edge of a table, the corner of a table. And she was like crying so much at first, and like her lip was like a little cut right here. But then she settled down and we thought like everything was fine. And then we look in her mouth and her tooth, her poor cute little baby tooth was like out. It was like sticking up like that. And oh my God, I remember my sister, her mom, when she first saw it, she started crying right away, but she didn't want Dahlia to see her crying because then Dahlia got scared too. Like she didn't even notice. I guess her tooth was out and up. And then when I saw it, oh my God, my heart sank to my stomach too. And then they took her to the hospital right away. And I watched her baby sister Leia at home, and the whole time I was just like freaking out. I'm like, oh my God, I hope she's okay. I hope she's okay. But they took out the tooth, and so for a few years, her tooth grew back now. She's 10. This happened when she was like maybe 5. But yeah, for a few years, she had a missing tooth. And I think when she was like maybe in 1st or 2nd grade or whatever, I have like the cutest video of her in her baby voice, and she's talking about she's embarrassed of her missing tooth. But it's so cute.
I think it'd be very fair to say, from my earliest memory, that I knew Mom had the potential to be violent. She'd tell my dad what to do. My dad would be like an old lapdog and follow instructions. And one night, I don't even know what the fight was about. My dad was very, very upset. And Mom picked up a butcher knife and actually threw it at him. It stuck in his arm. And I remember that, watching the blood trickle down and stuff.
Oh my God,
At that
this
age,
poor
you don't
guy.
understand what stabbing is or like that, but you know it's not good. The feeling in the house was negative, fear. And that's how Mom controlled things.
Wow, that house looked really nice though, and it's in Palm Springs. It must have been really expensive. Or I don't know, maybe if it was different back in the day.
Sante Kimes and her son Kenneth are still not talking to
Nicole, thank you for the subbie. Noisy says we're watching some dark shit.
Police.
This is true. This is true.
That you rented an apartment last month from Mrs. Silverman.
Apparently that mom and son duo we just saw, they're
Sante
killers.
Kimes and her son Kenneth are
We know the mom is evil. We don't know the son's story yet, but we know she's really evil.
still not talking to police. That you rented an apartment last month from Mrs. Silverman for $6,000.
In New York City, the pair is in police custody, and authorities think they may learn more about the Kimes from a green Lincoln automobile Kenneth drove.
So we knew that Kenny had parked the car in a garage.
Investigators have recovered a number of items from the car, including a loaded 9mm Glock semi-automatic pistol and $30,000 in cash.
We started getting all kinds of documents, papers, money, a gun. Everything was in that car that led us to believe that there was more than just the missing Irene Silverman that we had to worry about. First of all, the trunk was empty except
Oh my God.
for a large, like a...
I was gonna say, do you think guys think she's in the trunk? But at the same time, he said the trunk was empty. Okay. Whew. That would have been awful to stuff that poor old lady in there. Noisy, thank you for the gifted.
sport-type bag that could actually hold a person.
There was a stun gun box. There was all kinds of dresses. There were wigs, notebooks. One of the most important things that we recovered was Irene Silverman's signature written down several times. Someone was practicing on the notebooks. So we knew that that was the motive, that they were trying to fraudulently obtain her property.
Oh my gosh, thanks so much, Noisy. She said, I'm seeing a lot of new people here, so I want to encourage. Thank you so much.
We were just barely getting the corners of this puzzle. We still wanted to know, where is Irene Silverman?
So that opened up everything. The investigation exploded from there.
We found out that Sante Kimes and Kenny Kimes were persons of interest in the murder of a guy named David Kasdan.
Oh my God, they've been on a murder
Homicide
spree.
detectives have flown to New York today. They're investigating the murder of businessman David Kasdan, whose body turned up in a dumpster 4
Thank you,
months
Beard
ago.
and Chair.
Detectives in Los Angeles had these people in their sights before we did.
The police discovered there were other disappearances and other murders too.
No, what's it called? Easy. Welcome. They said, hope you're doing good. Thank you. I was telling chat earlier because Noisy was asking what Wendigoon was, and I was explaining where that came from and how you were suggesting that video in AB stream yesterday. And we had a whole discussion about it.
The body of a man named David Kasdan was discovered in a dumpster near Los Angeles International Airport.
David Kasdan was found in a dumpster, shot, I believe, in the back of the head with a small caliber handgun. Linda Kasdan, who was the daughter of David, told us about this woman, Sante Kimes, who she thought may possibly be involved in her father's murder.
Would I consider doing spooky streams like Skinwalkers and stuff? I would love to, actually. The thing is, and I wish I could do it more often, like watching like paranormal stuff, things like that. But a lot of the things I've seen on those topics just seem so fake. And it's like I can't get into it if I'm just not believing it. But if I can find like the right videos, I would love to.
When I spoke to Shantae, she always referred to Kasdan as her guardian angel. She certainly regarded him as a close family friend. And there have been suggestions that they were, at one stage, involved in a sexual relationship.
Ace, thank you. That's so sweet of you.
Mom befriended David Kasdan in the 80s. He owned a printing company. David Kasdan knew Mom enough to be attracted to her, but he also knew her enough to be afraid of her.
She was very sensual with her behavior and her mannerisms. She had very large breasts, and they were always pumped up and sticking out. She would lean up into you, and when she hugged you, she would smash them against you. When she talked to men, she did that too. She was very conscious of it. She would size you up and tell you exactly what you wanted to hear.
She was very
was an
calculated. She was an artist, some might say.
In Las Vegas, Mom owned a house on Geronimo Way. The first time I ever really spent any significant time with David Kasdan is when I picked him up at the airport.
Man, this guy is spilling all the tea on his mom. Like, all of it. And I don't blame him after what she put him through.
Or to take him to the Geronimo house. We had a lot of attorneys coming after us for money, whether it be pianos, for codes, insurance scams, cars, real estate, whatever it was. So David Kasdan had agreed to let Mom put the title of the Geronimo house in Las Vegas in his name. And he thought he was doing a favor.
Well, that's a big favor to do for someone.
Was Mom took out a mortgage on the house for like $280,000, I believe it was.
Okay, thank you, Ash.
David
Take pictures.
Kasdan didn't know
don't forget
about
that
this
one.
until he got the bill in the mail that your mortgage payment's due. And the driveway was right here. And then so he made a couple calls and he found out even more bad news that the house had burned down.
Another
And that the
insurance
fire was
job.
arson. Fire was a very convenient way for my mother to get the insurance claims paid out. So that's how David Kasdan kind of found out what Mom was doing. Insurance scams, fraudulent papers, and fires.
How? How does someone live a life like that? Like, scam after scam after scam. Like, that's awful. Especially, like, her poor kid, too, dragging him along through all of this. Isn't she worried? Like, it never ends.
The fire department had told us the house had burned under suspicious circumstances. It looked like it was arson. We think the Kimeses are responsible for Mr. Kasdan's murder. But we needed to find them. We ended up getting a call from this woman. Her name was Daniela, up in the Brentwood area of Los Angeles, subletting like a room. She said that this couple, a woman and her son, were staying there. The longer they were there, the more freaked out that Daniela got. They had packed up maybe hours before we got there, and they were gone. I recovered a small caliber bullet, like a .22. David Kasdan was shot.
Ace, thank you
with a
so much
small
for the
caliber
gifted.
handgun. The whole thing was just bizarre, and they had taken tape, kind of like masking tape, and they taped the seams around the doors. Mother and son stayed in that one room. A single queen-size bed. One whole door was sealed, and the other door that they used to go in and out, it seems like there was some tape on that, but of course it couldn't be taped all the time. That was strictly just so nobody could hear what they were talking about.
Oh my God,
So
they
it's
are so
kinda weird
sneaky
that mother and son would be doing that.
that they would tape the doors every time just so no one could
Sade and
hear.
Kenny just sleeping together, or is there something else going on?
Oh, I thought like literally they just had secrets. I hope that's not the case. No, you said the story is getting so disgusting. I know. I'm really hoping it's not going in that direction.
No.
The Kimes were on the run, but the police got a breakthrough when they found out about the stolen Lincoln.
There was a brand new Lincoln car that was delivered to them from Utah. The salesman dropped the car off. She writes him a check. When he tries to cash the check, it's not a good check. So now we know that they're driving this stolen car, and we're looking for them to talk to them about the murder.
After months of searching, police had a breakthrough. They were able to track down a guy called Stan Patterson. They told the police he had supplied guns to Shanti and Kenny in the past.
Stan Patterson had told us that he was getting calls from Sante Kimes. Sante wanted him to fly to New York to manage an apartment building for them. You kind of wonder why Stan, and that's what we were wondering, why would they hire you, Stan? Stan says he didn't know, but she also wanted him to bring guns with him. So we asked Stan if he would go to New York, try to draw Sante and Kenny out of hiding. And Stan said yes.
Oh my God, it's this whole thing now. Poor Irene Silverman. I almost forgot about her, the victim in all of this.
Stan was put on the airplane that morning to go to New York. We had contacted FBI agents in New York City. So they're going to follow Stan and hopefully make the arrest.
Now, the arrangement was that Shanti would meet Stan at the Hilton Hotel at 11 o'clock. At 11 o'clock, Shanti didn't turn up, so Stan tried to call her.
I'm here in Los Angeles.
I don't think I've ever thought to ask, how does AB feel about this type of stuff? I know it's far from what we watch on his stream. He's not into it like we are. He definitely doesn't get into it like I do, at least. He can't, and that's the next point I was going to make, because AB just mentioned, he said he can't comment on it. So there was a documentary we watched together recently, and it was awful, and it was really sad, and AB was making, the content of it, the context, but AB was making me laugh the whole time. He just kept making jokes about it, and I'm like, oh, this would not go well on stream. Like, this would be really insensitive and awful, so yeah, it's just not his thing.
Waiting for a call from New York.
He can't comment seriously on it.
When Shanti did turn up at 6 o'clock, Kenny wasn't with her. He eventually turned up at 7:20.
They called me and said that they had arrested both Sante and Kenny, and everything went smoothly.
Ooh, they're not as smart as they thought they are.
The Kimes were arrested in New York as part of the Kasdan police investigation. Just a few hours after Mrs. Silverman had been reported missing.
Man, you know she's rich, Irene Silverman, because look, her house is what? That's 2 blocks away from Central Park. Which case is this? I'm a true crime. Oh, welcome, Mads. This is, I guess, the Irene Silverman case, but apparently there's several other victims in this leading up to her disappearance. So far, we only know she's disappeared. We don't know what's happened to her, but the police aren't very optimistic. But the people who are tied to her disappearance so far, there's some evil people. It's a mom and a son, and the mom has a really bad criminal past, a big criminal history.
It was only after they were taken into custody that police realized that the 2 investigations...
Oh, did you say something? Oh, yeah, can you give me your Instacarting? Yeah. Some snacks, like a candy or like a Sour Patch? Or...
Sour Patch, okay.
Yeah, maybe just like a Sour Patch. I just want something to munch on.
were linked. David Kasdan and Irene Silverman. They were both looking for the same people. But Shanti was not going down without a fight.
Trust me, it can happen to you. It can happen to your mother. It could happen to your son. We have done nothing wrong.
No, I don't think so, ma'am. Don't let it get off the screen. I don't think it's something that could happen to me or someone I know, that we would get arrested for and linked to the disappearance of an elderly woman and the murders of several other people. I don't think so. Unless I've done something or I'm actually connected somehow. Yeah, I can't relate.
Sante and Kenny Kimes are suspected of being America's most notorious con artists.
The body of a man named David Kasdan was discovered in a dumpster near Los Angeles International Airport.
The center of the investigation are a mother and son suspected in a string of frauds and mysteries from coast to coast.
Before millionairess Irene Silverman disappeared, Kenny Kimes rented a room in her New York townhouse under the false name Manny Guerin.
No charges have been filed against the Kimes, but authorities in New York plan on holding them as long as possible.
They were in custody, but at that point there was no murder charges. We didn't have a body, and we didn't know the whereabouts of Irene Silverman.
After investigating the Mrs. Silverman disappearance, police had good circumstantial evidence against the Kimes, but they didn't have enough to press the matter in court. At this stage, Shanti and Kenny decided to get their lawyers lined up and go on the attack.
I was working as a private detective. I got a phone call one afternoon about a week after her disappearance. And it was Larry Frost, who's a private detective I've worked with a lot before. And he told me that he had been hired to work for Matthew Weissman, who was one of the lawyers for Sante and Kenny Kimes.
That name is so familiar.
Mother and son who'd been arrested. He said, "Are you interested?" I said, "You bet."
Excuse me. Excuse me.
Wait, and he's representing them? Is that what they just said? The name sounds so familiar. Matthew Weissman. But I guess he's like a popular attorney, but is he representing them?
I'm an attorney. We would like access to the Times residence, please.
I met with Matthew Weissman, and he said, "It's time you met her. It's time you met them." The
Noisy,
clients.
thank you for the gifted. And Ginseng, thank you for the sub.
We met at 100 Center Street. She came down the hall, handcuffed with a guard, and she greeted us as if we were in her living room of her mansion. I felt she was going to summon the butler and say, "Bring the champagne, please." "Oh, how lovely of you to come. How wonderful to see you, Matthew. Kiss, kiss." And she instantly touched her hair, as women do. She tilted her head, and I thought, this is a man's woman. This is the way she flirts. She is definitely very aware of her femininity. And it was immediately, we are being framed. We haven't done anything wrong. You must save my son, who has never done anything wrong in his entire life. You must help us.
We have been framed.
The voice from behind bars, insisting on innocence. It belongs to Sante Kimes.
Definitely not a girly's girl. Oh, for sure not. For sure not Noisy. There's no way that attorney could believe her. Like, just looking into her record, to be linked to so many incidents like that, like how?
Please help.
You can only be
I'm
framed so many
pleading for our
times.
constitutional rights so that my wonderful young son's innocence can be proven to everyone. Please help us.
Sante became a force in my life. Omnipresent, always there. I might go down in the afternoon and spend 2 hours with her. Then I would leave her, and I would, as I turned the lock in the door, hear her voice in my apartment, and she would be leaving a message on my answering machine.
Please help us. We have been framed.
We believe that Mrs. Silverman became disenchanted with the Kimeses as tenants.
Like said, she looks not so good there, no hate, but they hype her up too much, especially as a murderer. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing when they showed that footage of her. I'm like, she doesn't look all that like insanely like, oh my God, like stunning, and she'll make me do whatever she wants. But I think that's the point of what they're saying. Like, she was just so conniving, and one of these speakers said that she could look into your soul and say exactly what you want to hear. She was very calculated, one might say. I've been liking that word lately.
And we believe that she became suspicious of them.
We turned over every leaf looking for her for weeks. My hopes diminished each day that she would be found alive. So at that point, we were looking for a recovery of her body rather than finding
you
a
guys,
live
I really hope
person.
Irene is alive.
Neither the mother nor the son has been charged in the case of the missing woman, and so far, the couple is not cooperating.
I was
Thank you,
there
Cup
almost
Nice.
every day on the 12th floor with Santi and Kenny. The room we were in was separated in thirds. Santi would be here behind her grate, and Kenny would be here behind his, and they would call back and forth to each other. I love you, I love you. And Kenny, are you eating enough? I'm so worried about you. I'm so proud of you. And then Kenny would call back, I'm fine, Mom.
Do you guys think she ever hit this son? Or not that she hit her other son like regularly, but in just that moment they were, that situation, how she randomly punched him and accused the other lady of doing it. Like, I'm sure it must have not been the first time she got physical with him. It's sad to see how she actually seems to care about this son in her own twisted way, but yeah, to love this son and not the other.
I was given letters to be passed between mother and son, and I thought it was unusual when they would write things like, I am you, you are me. That's very, very unnaturally close, I think. Might be something a lover would say.
Kenny was the
That is so
ticket
weird.
for her to have the money. That was her golden egg.
Kenny was treated as the prince. He was, which what he was. He was the heir to the throne. Mom adored him. There was nothing but love for Kenny.
That answers our question.
After she divorced my dad, she went and searched for a millionaire. Her big catch was Ken, my stepfather. Ken Kimes was the target she'd been looking for. Very, very wealthy, very, very successful.
Oh, poor guy.
She said that she met him because I didn't have a dime, honey. It was all because of a dime. She needed a dime to make a phone call in a motel, and she only had a $100 bill. And Ken Kimes, this tall, handsome man, came in and let her use the phone because it happened to be his motel. He owned a chain of motels. It was love at first sight.
Oh, no.
Forever until he died.
I think Mom realized with Ken, okay, this is what I've been looking for. This has been the target. So Mom decided to capture Ken the old-fashioned way. She got pregnant.
Mr. Kimes was a millionaire, and Kenny was a golden child for her. Kenny was really sweet. He was adorable. He was loving. He was kind.
Oh my God, he never stood a chance.
You know, you think of somebody when they're little, oh, they killed animals. Kenny never did that. He wasn't a mean, he didn't step
Oh
on
my God, with a mom like that, really, it makes me so sad. He never had a chance.
bugs and laugh. I mean, he was just sweet. He was a sweet little boy.
Kenny's upbringing was different than anyone else's I've ever seen. First of all, he had the maids. So, I mean, his bed was made every day. He didn't really have any kind of chores. He was also tutored. He didn't go to a regular school and get to associate with other children. It was almost like a prison, I guess, only it was a luxury prison.
The only food I ever saw him eat was like super healthy food. He never could have any candy or anything. It was all very regimented. She had an iron fist on Kenny.
That's him holding his boy, the heir. Ken was a great father. They played together, just always holding him, changed the diaper. There was actually a peace in the home compared to what it usually was at. And it lasted for a while. Alcohol became a bigger player for Mom and Ken. Ken had become a paranoid alcoholic. He was sure that everybody was out to get his money, to destroy his family.
Oh my God, it's kind of like it's giving like Carol Baskin vibes, and with her first husband, and how all of that went down, like how he was suspicious at first and then suddenly disappeared. I think that's where this is going.
All the time. I don't think I ever saw that man when he was not completely drunk. They would wake up in the morning, get their drinks, drink their morning drinks, and then have their lunch drinks and their evening drinks. I mean, it was drink, drink, drink all day long. He kind of sat in a chair like a zombie, and she kept handing him drinks.
The arguments and fights became more violent. I mean, things were getting thrown. Kenny was a very confused teenager at this point, 16, 17 years old.
Wow, it's so sad for this older brother because, like, his younger brother, Kenny, seems like up until he was a teen, at least to our knowledge, he lived like a normal life. Meanwhile, he's like 5 years old or 8 years old or whatever, and his mom is like teaching him how to steal and putting him through all of these things and punching him in the face and accusing it on another lady just to get away.
In the War of the Kindnesses, whoever had Kenny's love had the advantage. And so Ken would buy him every single toy he can get his hands on he wanted. Kenny was shoplifting, Kenny would scold him for it. So Kenny was stuck in a position where he didn't know what to do. The tension in that house, you could taste it. The anger, the hate, the suspicion. And Kenny, he never got a break from it. He was always in the middle of it, one way or the other. There was actually one time Kenny was trying to run away, and I stopped him from running away. Biggest regret of my life today. That's how I survived. You know, maybe if he had the shot, maybe you were too.
It is my great pleasure to introduce my beloved attorneys who are champions of justice and who I know will prove our innocence because we are innocent.
The lawyers would come one at a time, sometimes two at a time, and Sante just delighted.
Yes, so Kenneth is the dad and Kenny is the son, I guess. No, wait, but one of them is Kent. How did that happen? So her first son is like, I think is Kent. And then she married a guy named Kenneth and she named their son Kenny. Something like that.
In telling each lawyer a different story. And they would go away believing her. And I would say, Sante, why did you tell Mel Sachs that? Why did you tell Matthew Weissman a completely different story? And she would just smile with this impish look in her eyes and say, oh, Cece, it's so much fun. Can't I have fun in here? And then, of course, we would have a legal strategy meeting, which erupted in chaos because everybody believed a different story that she had told them. Sante loved danger, and she loved risk. And I think that was maybe the most motivating thing in her life.
There was a note that Sante tried to pass on. That note was retrieved by one of the detectives when they interviewed her. The note included, go to Palazza, look for, and she put the number 43280. And the only thing close to that we could think of was maybe they checked a bag or something. There had to be a connection between the Plaza Hotel and that note that she tried to pass off.
She had left a black bag at the Plaza Hotel. She had checked it on July the 5th. And it was urgent, urgent, urgent.
After they both got arrested, Mom and Kenny wanted me to come to New York. is they had checked a bag in at the Plaza Hotel. Mom thought she was going to be able to talk me into going and get the bag or doing anything, I guess, that would help her. And I said no. Mom had gotten so used to being able to make me do things even if I didn't want to do them. And I think it surprised her, her big brown-eyed boy betrayed her. Both Mom and Kenny, I believe, view me as the ultimate betrayer. I didn't come to the rescue. So Mom hired someone to kill me.
Damn, that's sometimes what I hate about subtitles. Like, I definitely need them because I miss a lot too, but oh my god, I read that before he said it, and that is so crazy. It really got to that level. Oh man, I feel so bad for Kent. Or Kenneth, whatever.
Mom,
I think Kent.
it's black and white. You were either a friend or you were a foe. And Mom
Kent.
viewed me as a foe. I was approached by this guy with a gun. There's a little bit of scuffle. And I was lucky enough to be able to grab the gun from the guy's hand, and I threw it in some bushes. And I had him, still had hold of him. I said, "Who are you? What is this?" And he said, "You just stay away from the Kimeses. Don't mess with the Kimeses."
His own family.
And that was an eye-opener. Because I always was the one that would be the safest from her. And then I found out I became just like everyone else.
Oh my god, what an awful mom.
Sante was relentless when she wants something. Get the bag, somebody has to get the bag. I left the bag at the Plaza Hotel. It turned out that Larry Frost, who's a private detective who worked for Sante, picked up this black bag. When the bag was opened, there were Scream masks from the movie Scream. There were Silverman real estate documents, and there was a .22, a little gun. And I remember saying to Larry, "A little gun? Perfect for a woman?" And he laughed and he said yes. All this was highly incriminating. It was a mess. The reaction of the legal team was, my God, horror, terrible, a disaster.
Well, did her legal team turn on her? I wonder. It wasn't until this point that they figured maybe she's guilty.
Someone was just there at the hotel and picked up a bag, and it had the tag 43280 on it. They were then subpoenaed by the district attorney's office to produce that bag. Basically, over 200 items were recovered from that bag.
Tapes. We got tapes.
Not only was a .22 caliber gun recovered, but more importantly, it was a signed deed selling Irene Silverman's house to Atlantis Group, LLC, which was a fictitious company, for the amount of $395,000. Not the true value. The value at that time was probably around $8 million.
Once we found that forged deed, we knew that that was the motive, that they were trying to fraudulently obtain her property.
Officers found a date rape drug as well as documents indicating the Kimes' plan to get Mrs. Silverman to sign over her Manhattan property. Police believe Sante Kimes posed as the elderly millionaire.
Oh my god, how awful.
Back on July 2nd, before the disappearance of Irene.
How did they think they were gonna get away with that? That's so true. I was wondering too, like, they do all of this, you think that they're so smart and clever, but they got caught. And it was what, like a few days after her disappearance.
Kenny had a deed fulfilling the sale of that mansion notarized by a notary public.
To get her signature on the forged deed, Sante had to first act as Irene. So when the notary got there, she was dressed as Irene Silverman. The notary walked into the apartment. The lights were dim. She was led to a bedroom that was also very dimly lit. She saw an older woman in bed with a wig. I believe the wig was red in color, like Irene Silverman's hair. So the notary thought it was Irene Silverman, and she notarized the document. Once that was done, the Kimeses had the townhouse. It was now theirs.
At this point,
It's giving Big Bad Wolf. That's true. With the wig and everything. And she really is a monster.
Irene Silverman is still alive. And it's one of the questions that'll probably never be answered, whether they came to New York.
Oh, that's interesting,
intentionally
Catsy
kill
Bunny.
her,
No, I haven't read that.
Or to go ahead and just try to get the deed signed over and then worry about the legal things.
Zoe,
later
hi,
on.
welcome.
But we were confident that they were responsible for the disappearance. We were also confident, since we didn't find Irene, that she was dead.
Oh my god, I'm hoping she's alive.
Problem.
Why do they keep showing these slippers? This is like the 10th time at least we've seen this shot. Just what are they trying to show? Or what emotion are they trying to evoke? Just that she's missing? She's not there to fulfill her shoes?
In this case, we didn't have a body.
No body.
We have no proof of how she was actually killed.
There isn't any body. There isn't any eyewitnesses. There isn't any forensic evidence.
Jiggly Bits, hi. Thank you for the sub. Just product placement, maybe?
Now we had to put the case together to the point where we had so much circumstantial evidence that we had to convince a jury that there is beyond a reasonable doubt that these people murdered Irene Silverman.
This is the anatomy of a frame-up.
By the end of 1998, a decision had been made by the district attorneys to go ahead and pursue an indictment for not only the disappearance of Irene Silverman, but the murder of Irene Silverman.
You can charge someone for murder when there's no body? That is so interesting. How could they possibly prove that
First
then?
time in American history.
Disappearance, okay,
that
but the
officials
murder?
are attempting to convict somebody for murder without a body, without one single iota of forensic evidence.
I had my doubts if they'd be able to convict without a body and circumstantial evidence. You know, if I was a gambling man, I would say no. It was a long shot.
If you believe in justice or family, I beg for your help. My son and I...
Oh my god, Rikers Island? She's giving this interview from Rikers Island? Is that a jail even still open? I think we had to like write a paper on that in college. It was like psychology in the workplace. And I forgot what the prompt was, but it was about Rikers Island. And I remember that paper like drove me insane. And it took me forever. And like my whole class, we all got like bad grades on it. And some people were so pissed they like went to like the head of the college and stuff to like complain about the professor. Because it was just so stupid. It didn't make sense, like what he expected from us. But that's the only reason I know about Rikers Island and why I feel so strongly about it. That damn paper. Oh, Avery says it's still 1000% open and super effed up still. That's sad. That's where they put Santi Kimes, I guess.
Are innocent. There is a huge evil cover-up going on. The police have made a terrible mistake.
Sante, before I got involved in the case, was literally holding court with the press.
Are you sure that my son can get a fair trial? They don't have any evidence. This case should have never even
We will show that at trial, Sante.
They were determined to try to defend themselves in the media.
We are innocent. Thank you for your time, and may God be with you. To my family and my friends, I miss you all terribly, and I love you. I love you, Mom.
They wanted to state their case. They wanted to be in front of a camera. And the thing is, that's what they're good at. They're good at manipulation. They're good at selling themselves.
We don't know where this woman is. Wherever she is, I pray to God she's all right.
I remember being surprised that they were on 60 Minutes. And I had a hard time figuring out why an attorney would allow their client, who's accused for murder, to go on national television.
The 60 Minutes interview created so much controversy because they were holding hands.
I mean, I've even heard rumors about how I don't love my mother, how I hate her.
They weren't really looking as much like mother and...
That is weird. That is weird. First I'm like, okay, but like it's a mom and a son, and the son has been in jail. And she's concerned, and, you know, she's just scared for him. But that's like a different kind of holding hands.
And son, as people expected them to.
I think she's a beautiful person, spiritually and intellectually and physically.
They were on the set, being very affectionate with each other, holding hands with each other. And that was feeding into this whole narrative that had gotten out into the media, that someone had seen them in bed together, and it just wasn't helpful.
Their relationship was over the top. I guess if you put
what was their attorney thinking, allowing them going on television like that? Maybe he never saw them two together like that before. Because if he had, and he suspected there was like some kind of affectionate relationship like that, maybe he wouldn't have allowed it.
Romantic
or
relationship
pushed
here,
for it.
and the mother and son relationship there, well, they were in the middle. They were somewhere there, but closer to the outsider, looking like maybe there was incest involved, but there wasn't. It is weird. I understand people's confusion on that. And the reason why I'm very secure in believing that that never happened is because it never happened with me.
Oh, but Kent, I'm so sorry to break your heart. It really seems like she loved him more, maybe. I see Dang saying, how does he know? Because that's the first thing that came to my mind, too. Like, how do you know? Like, how could you be so sure there's nothing going on? And yeah, she's never done that to you, but clearly there's like, she has two different relationships with both sons.
She had amazing power over him. But Kenny became more and more forceful. At times, Kenny was enraged with her. And he would scream, "It's all your fault. You write everything down. It's your obsession. It's all your fault." There were times when he would shout, "I hate you. I hate you." And shut your mouth.
There was a time Kenny scared the hell out of me. You can see that he was capable of violence.
Hello. My name is Kenneth Kimes. You don't really know me. You may think you know me, but you do not.
Kenny was working out and he discovered steroids. He'd snap.
Oh my God.
Sure.
Where are they getting these images of him? Well, who took these photos of him?
Anger that would just ooze out of his pores. It was disturbing. One time, he was holding like a shoelace or something, and he was behind Mom, and he was getting ready to strangle her. I had to physically get him out of the room.
Kenny didn't have a chance with a mother like that.
That's what I said.
She fed him her philosophy of life. He received that education from really a psychopath.
I was initially going to title this stream Psycho Mom. But I'm like, maybe I shouldn't say that word. But, I mean, now that we've actually seen it, it would be very fitting. They've been referencing her as a psychopath a few times already now. So then I just settled for evil moms. But it just doesn't have the same zing to it.
Ken died suddenly in 1994. And Shante and Kenny realized that they needed to access his money.
Ken died from an aneurysm, and it was sudden. And the weeks after he died, the whole gist was, where's the money? You know, she wanted to know where the money was at.
Oh my God, I really thought like they were going to say she killed him. It just fits so perfectly with the rest of the narrative, but I guess not. I guess he died naturally. And tragically too. That's sad.
Ken was so paranoid that
yeah, it's actually evil mom sad face. That's what I
thought everyone was out to get his money, and so it was hidden away.
I don't know if she was legally married to him. And this may have been one of the reasons that she was so desperate to get his money out of the banks before anyone discovered that he was dead and she was not the legal heir.
Oh my God, Monster Mom, that's another good one. Maybe if we do other episodes of this series, we'll title it that.
Ken Sr. deposited something like $850,000 with the Gulf Union Bank in Nassau. Shante was sending faxes to the bank, forging checks. And these irregularities eventually came to the attention of the auditors at the bank.
There was a banker in the Bahamas named Syed Bilal Ahmed. Kenny and Sante had flown to the Bahamas to sweet-talk him. They wanted Ken Kimes' money to be freed from that bank. And this banker in the Bahamas had become a little suspicious.
But it's his son. If anything, his son... Does someone have to have a will for any kind of movement to happen with their money in a bank? Because you would think like it would just, if him and his wife are divorced, then okay, maybe his son, it would automatically go to his son.
Kenny took him out to dinner and suddenly he disappeared.
The banker disappeared too? Okay, I'm sorry. I knew they were crazy, but come on. I was not expecting that. Even the banker in the freaking Bahamas, they are out of control.
Hello, Mr. Sean. It's Mrs. Kimes. How are you?
The voice from behind bars insisting on innocence. It belongs to the woman who's been called the nation's most infamous con artist, Sante Kimes.
The trial opens today of Sante and Kenny Kimes for the murder of elderly millionairess Irene Silverman.
The Kimeses are facing at least 84 counts in total.
At least they got caught, it
including robbery,
seems.
larceny, and forgery.
I think most New Yorkers are interested in this story because many people have seen the movie The Grifters, and this reminds them of the movie
The Grifters? What is that about? Is it also like a mom-son duo who does the same thing? They're forging checks from him to get his money. That's how they're raising suspicion with that banker. Oh, I see. They're not divorced, so it's clear if... It's not clear if they were ever married at this point. Oh, I thought they showed like maybe a shot of the wedding. Maybe that was stock footage? I don't know. Oh, that's so interesting. My parents, when they opened up their accounts, they told the bank they wanted the money payable on death. Pod to each other, then now me. Oh, okay. So yeah, I guess you just have to have something like in place for when that happens.
Grifters, and they're looking at this mother and son who seem to be perfectly normal, and the atrocious crimes they've been accused of, and there's just pure fascination in them.
We have done nothing wrong. The police overreacted. They are framing us. We don't know where she is. We're innocent, and if just given our rights, we will prove it.
One of the tremendous challenging pieces of evidence was a duffel bag that had been left in storage by Sante Kimes at the Plaza Hotel in New York. It contained notebooks, it contained
just so much evidence. She's an idiot.
There were a number of items in that bag that would be very challenging. There were at least a dozen notebooks, all detailed writings about their activities.
Part of the defense was all those notes that were found in the notebooks. Sante denied ever writing in them. But yet during the course of the trial, she just continuously kept taking notes, taking notes, taking notes. So it had to be obvious to the jurors, well, how could she deny writing those notes in the notebook when she's in fact sitting right in front of us right now doing the very same thing?
That's true.
At one point, the prosecution brought...
I wonder how long after the old woman went missing that these interviews took place. I was just wondering about that too, because her disappearance initially was like in the 90s, and then they said where this is taking place right now, this is in 2000.
In
so like years
boxes
later.
And boxes and boxes.
Oh my God, I think that means they don't end up finding her. And she's not alive. Oh my God, I was really rooting for her. That is so sad.
And we had nothing. Basically nothing to present.
The prosecutors put over 100 witnesses on the stand. We had zero witnesses. Sante wanted to testify. She believed that she could convince the world that she was innocent, but there were things that have happened in her past that she would be confronted with, and that would be a death blow to her case.
In 1985, Sante and her husband, Kenneth Sr., were arrested for enslaving immigrant maids. Kenneth got a fine and probation. Sante was sentenced to 5 years and served 3.
For what?
In 1985, Sante and her husband, Kenneth Sr., were arrested for enslaving immigrant maids.
Enslaving immigrant maids? Oh my God, this lady is just awful. It just, every horrible thing you could think of, she's done it.
Kenneth got a fine and probation. Sante was sentenced to 5 years and served 3.
She was even accused of burning one of them with an iron.
I've never yelled loudly, and I have certainly never physically touched any of them.
Sante was arrested for slavery. One of her workers.
Just when you think it can't get any worse.
They nicknamed her Diablo, the devil.
Mom always had maids from my earliest memories.
I thought she was rich though, and she could afford them. Super. Damn, and thank you for the sub.
Let's say, since you were married to Mr. Kimes.
Oh gosh, 80, 100.
One of the maids said she was hit with coat hangers, that they were locked in the rooms, that they couldn't move.
She never did any chores at all. She was too pretty and her nails were too nice. If the maid was doing something and she made a mistake or dropped something, you know, she would be going, oh, everything's so wonderful, to, what did you do? You know, and you're just like, what happened? You know, what just happened? She could be an angel 1 second and then turn of the switch, the devil incarnate.
It's intolerable, combined with being away from your children, especially when you're wrongly convicted.
The fact that she had served jail time for enslaving maids did not make her necessarily guilty of the Silverman murder.
The crux of the case was the murder charge. And to this day, I still believe that you could convince that jury that a not guilty verdict on the basis of the evidence would be an appropriate verdict.
There's still doubt. It's the jury system. It's 12 human beings. So you never know.
I don't think they're
When
gonna
we found
do
out
it.
that the jury
Reached a verdict. Okay, thank God. I thought I spoiled it. I don't think they're gonna be found guilty of that, just that charge at least. Like how? There's no body.
reached a verdict, we were all very excited and apprehensive.
Here it comes.
In that courtroom, on that day, when that jury came back,
just tell
I
us.
believe that Sante Kimes was innocent.
And I just started wondering, like, is this for real? Are these people not guilty?
So which is it?
On the date of the verdicts, I made arrangements with one of the sergeants assigned to the Civil Task Force to call me and then tap on his phone. All I kept hearing was tap, 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 tap.
They
It
didn't
was
say yet,
guilty,
right?
guilty, guilty, over and over, dozens of times.
I got so excited I ran down to the court.
Yep, guilty.
The mother and son team were convicted of more than 100 counts of everything from murdering Irene Silverman to writing bad checks.
Sante was coming down the hall.
Oh my god, that is so true. If they get a guilty verdict with the lack of evidence, you gotta know their vibes are effing sinister. That's so true. There was no evidence and they were still convicted.
And she threw her arms around me.
Well, no body
and
at
she
least.
said,
But...
honey, if I start crying, I'll never stop. And then Kenny came down the hall, whiter than a piece of paper, just completely shocked, because I think he honestly believed that his mother had been telling him the truth, that we are innocent, we will not be convicted, we'll be okay. He believed every word. So this was stunning to him.
Sante and Kenny Kimes have each been sentenced to more than 120 years in jail.
Clearly, the sentence on Sante Kimes is a death sentence. She will never live through that sentence.
I wonder what they did with the body. You have to be an expert killer to make a body completely disappear with no witnesses. Definitely not the first time. That's true. Maybe I'm thinking they're in New York. They just dumped them in a lake somewhere. It's so sad. I mean, Irene at least.
They had to plan to murder this woman to steal her mansion. It's purely for personal gain. And that's evil in my book. And so I had to accept that. And it was hard because, I don't know, maybe it's because of my mom. You don't want to admit that about someone you love.
But also she tried to kill you.
Because it was pure premeditated murder.
Didn't you know she was evil since then?
When I interviewed Sandy earlier this month at Rikers, I asked her what it was like to face spending the rest of her life behind bars.
The biggest injustice is that there's no crime. They don't know where the woman is. They manufactured a crime. The police admitted to Mel Sachs, one of the greatest attorneys in the whole world, that there was no trail of evidence. All that was, it was all planned. It was, they didn't even...
Well, they didn't say they planted it.
That was
Whoa, she got a freaking interview with
all
him?
planted when they found out that we were guests over there.
What? What?
Kenneth Kimes and his mother Sante are now facing charges in Los Angeles.
How did you get an interview with Larry King? Like, could he think that maybe she's innocent? It's not, like, entirely, like, he's not even sure that maybe she's guilty? Oh, he's interviewing anyone? I just thought, like, someone, like, respectable like that, they don't really do that with murderers. But I don't know. I don't know the situation there. Okay, Avery says Larry King is a content goblin. Okay, now it makes sense.
The murder of businessman David Kasdan. Mr. Kasdan's body was found in a dumpster. He had been shot.
The Kimeses are suspected of taking out a fraudulent loan for $280,000 in Mr. Kasdan's name before he was killed.
You knew that David Kasdan and the whole California situation were still out there waiting for her. In California, there was a body.
Oh my God, all of that was only for the New York stuff.
And they were coming after Sante and Kenny for it.
California was a death penalty state, unlike New York.
Kenny was terrified. They would have been the first and only mother and son given the death penalty in U.S. history.
With Sante and Kenny Kimes facing extradition to California for the murder of David Kasdan, Kenny Kimes agreed to an interview behind bars with reporter Maria Zone.
I
I walked into the prison like I had walked into many prisons before that. I had interviewed assassins before that. It was a day on the job. The interview was set up in this cafeteria. I had my cameraman and an audio person, and there was a corrections officer with me. So Kenneth walks in, and he sat down in front of me. And right away,
Good night, beard
I
and chair.
noticed he was very fidgety, very nervous.
I'm a little, jittery is probably because I haven't had anything to eat all day.
So I said to myself, this is interesting. I think he's having second thoughts about talking to me. And I started asking him about his association with Irene Silverman. How did he know this woman? And again, he stopped and he said,
If I may ask, could we take a break in maybe 5 or 10 minutes?
how about 2 minutes?
Sure. Better.
What do you need a break for?
Just put a little water in my face.
He came back, and again, I'm trying to get him to respond to his association with Irene Silverman, why he rented her apartment under an alias. Are you saying, though, that Mrs. Silverman was aware that you were sharing the apartment with your mother?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And then he looked at me and he said, I haven't eaten anything. Would you mind getting me something to eat? So I said, sure. It was lunchtime. So I got up and I went to the vending machines and I got him the Snickers bar. I went back into the room where I was interviewing him, and I handed him these things. And it all happened
What did he
so
do?
fast.
What did he do?
All of a sudden, he's around my back, and his right arm was around my neck, and he whispered in my ear, this is a hostage situation. This is a hostage situation. He saw that the cameraman turned the camera on again. And the correction officer escorted the cameraman and the audio person out of the room. Very quickly, there were other prison officials that came into the room. Kenneth had me crouched in the corner, and he did whisper to me more than once, I'm not going to hurt you. I'm not going to hurt you. But all I kept thinking in the back of my mind was, this man is serving 125 years in prison. What is killing one more person going to do?
Yeah, like why would he care? Oh my God, that's so true. And I would be so scared if I was her. Like he has nothing to lose.
I did at some point realize he did have a pen in his hand that he could use as a weapon. So I'm thinking, oh my gosh, should I look at him when I'm speaking to him? What if he stabs me in the eyes with the pen? I'm thinking about my 2 younger children at home. I had a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old.
That's a very valid concern. What if he stabs me in the eye with his pen? I think that's the first thing that would come to my mind too.
Didn't see them that morning. I had left early to come to do this interview. Thinking about my husband, my family, and my whole life is just I'm thinking this could be it. So I would say to him, why are you doing this? And he quickly said to me, my mother's too old. She cannot survive another trial. So he said to me, I want to be extradited to Canada. His mother be released out of prison along with him. They wouldn't face another trial where they were facing the death penalty.
Did he really think that was going to work? I mean, yeah, he has a hostage and a pen, but like...
There was a
That's a
clock
really-
on the wall. At
that's
that
a lot
point,
to ask
there
for.
was several hostage negotiators. As the hours went by, I noticed they were creeping up closer and closer. And finally, like hour 4, I said, Kenny, do you know how to pray? Do you want to pray with me? And there was this, like, quietness that came over him. And he said yes. And we said the Our Father together. And it was very powerful. And
they connected?
It was shortly after that he let me go. And when he let me go, I just heard everybody just pounce on him, and he was groaning. And I didn't look back. I ran out of that prison building and couldn't wait to get home
she saved
to my
herself.
family. It became very clear to me that he took me hostage to protect his mother.
They've become notorious as the Grifters, the mother and son team accused of murdering LA businessman David Kasdan. Kenneth and Sante Kimes have now been extradited to California to face trial here.
Kent, first of all, do you believe that at any time your mother and your stepbrother would ever turn on each other and testify against each other?
I can absolutely guarantee you that that will not happen.
But does it?
We got a call from the DA.
It's like 10 minutes left.
We received a
Let's
call
see.
from Kenny's defense attorney saying that, hey, Kenny will talk to you. And the condition was take the death penalty off the table for me and my mom. And for 3 days, 8 hours every day, we sat and talked.
After all these years of domination by Shanti, it looked like Kenny was about to turn on his mother.
I couldn't believe it. I mean, all these protestations of innocence for years. And suddenly he's going to tell everything. He's finally broken free of his mother. I was astounded. He came in and his hands were handcuffed in front of him. He looked hard. He looked cruel.
He does.
And he was
he
on the
does.
stand. And he had to tell the details of killing Irene Silverman.
They knew that she was going to be there by herself on that holiday because all of her staff was going to be gone. They hear her door open, close.
Oh my God, so
Kenny
he
looks
really
out.
did tell. He did. Oh my God, I thought like last minute it was all part of an elaborate plan to do something else that they weren't expecting, just like with him agreeing to do that interview, and then he held the interviewer hostage. But it looks like he's really ratting on his mom.
The peephole of his door, and his mom's in there, and they see her. That's when Kenny opens the door, goes out, grabs her, because there's nobody there to see anything. And he drags her into their room, shuts the door.
He talked about how
I know, they're finally telling us what
hit
happened to Irene.
on the head with the stun gun. Then he came around behind her and put his hands around her throat. And he said, I didn't know how long to squeeze. And then the two of them got her into the bathtub, and I believe into some kind of canvas bag. Got her out amazingly unseen.
Kenny takes the duffel bag, he just rolls it down the sidewalk like it's on a roller, and he's gonna put it in the trunk of the car.
Nobody saw
He
that.
drove to New Jersey. He couldn't remember the exit. He couldn't remember exactly where.
He finds a big dumpster, the back of a gas station, throws her in there. She's never found.
Oh my God, the mom looks so different. Wow. Jail has not been kind to her. And I say this only because, like, they keep describing her, like, in her cunning years, how she'd be so, like, flirtatious and use her womanhood to get what she wanted.
Meanwhile, his mother was sitting to the far left in a wheelchair, and she was sobbing. You could hear her crying in the courtroom as he talked. Then Kenny began to describe how he killed David Kasdan. How his mother had said, "We're going to have to kill him."
Yeah, she's really freaking out.
And he said, "I knew it was up to me to do it."
Yeah, he agreed to talk, and in return, they would take him and his mom off death row, apparently.
And he rang the doorbell, and David knew him, let him in. They went into the kitchen.
He went and got me, started pouring me a cup of coffee. He didn't quite reach it. His back was towards me, and I shot him in the back of the head.
After the murder of David Kasdan, Kenny said that they went to a flower shop where Kenny ended up buying flowers for his mom. Like the job was done, and that was it.
How twisted they are.
I felt I couldn't breathe. I was hardly breathing.
Oh, Zen Kenobi,
when
happy
he was
birthday.
talking about what they'd done.
I wanted to be her toy soldier. I wanted to be the guy that she could always count on. My dad was dead. We didn't have anybody. We didn't trust anybody.
When I found out that Kenny killed Kasdan, and on the way back, Kenny stopped and bought Mom this huge bouquet of flowers as a celebration of a job well done. And that just, I actually threw up.
We, the jury, in the 11th count of action, find the defendant Sante Kine guilty of the crime of murder in the first degree.
Oh my God.
It hurt because, you know, it was my family that did this. You know, I came from that. It was hard. On a personal level,
Yeah,
it was hard.
we feel for you, Kent. We do.
It was quite a while ago when I got these.
And that they even tried to have him
I have
killed.
been in contact with Kenny sporadically. I would not call it a relationship. I think Kenny
Oh, he sent him those photos from prison.
had remorse, but he didn't have remorse for what he did. He had remorse because he got caught. So all the remorse was self-serving.
He has a lot of regrets, but he never said, "I'm sorry. I'm sorry" to the family of Irene. He never apologizes. And that still bothers me to today.
That bothers me too. That is so sad.
We are all kind
Like, this poor old lady, she just stayed home, minded her own business, never bothered anybody. Just ends up in a dumpster. That's not right.
of disappointed. Not recovering Irene's body, at least in my mind, is disappointing, and that would have been complete closure for this case.
And will never be released? They didn't say yet what happened to the mom.
I met Shanti Kimes at the women's prison in New York State, 2011. Our final parting was her grasping my hand and saying, "Get me out of here, John. Get me out of here. Please, please, please get me out of here." And when I walked down the corridor through the clanking security gates, I could still hear her voice shouting, "John, please get me out of here."
Yeah, that's why they killed her. Just to get her house. It's awful.
I never saw any change at all in Sante. And I think it was right and just that she never be out of prison.
I had an email from Bedford Hills Correctional
Thank you. You got some soups.
Facilities. Mr. Walker, please contact us. I think that's what I knew. But they'd never emailed me before, so I Googled it, and I found out Mom died.
I hope he has like some family, like a cousin still or someone. It's just so sad that that's your family. Now he doesn't have any.
I worked for the police department for 32 years and did murders for 20 years, but she was the most evil woman that I had ever come across. Seriously. And she was so good at manipulating people, so good at it, but she just had this evil streak in her. I think that's just her DNA.
Oh, they put in memory of Irene Silverman, David Kasdan, and Syed Bilal Ahmad. That is so sad. I really thought this was going to be a story about Irene Silverman, but instead it was about Sante and her son. Just like one awful lady to do that to your son, to raise him that way and put him through all of that. Yeah, I know. Justice for Irene. That is so sad. Why aren't I? Oh my goodness. Please work. Good. Sorry guys, one sec. Okay. Okay. Oh. Okay. So yes, anyways, I think I'm going to call it for tonight. Maybe I'll have time to work a little bit more on my my stream for Thursday, which is going to be good. It's going to be good. I don't want to hype it up too much, but it's going to be good, you guys. So I hope to see you guys all there. And in the meantime, let's all raid Nicole. I guess she's live, and I've been telling her she needs to stream more often. And I'm just so happy right now to see that she is live. So you guys, I hope you all join me in raiding her. Come on, if Twitch wants to work for me, that would be great. Here we go. Oh, and she's with Riley. Okay, you guys, you gotta go check them out. They're both so nice. And I am starting the raid now. Oh, there we go. Oops. Oh, I did that too soon. No. Sorry. Well, if you guys are still here, just go check out their channel.